Let's talk about positive cash flow. Simply defined, positive cash flow means you have more money every month coming in than going out. Positive cash flow. Negative cash flow means you have more money going out than coming in. This is why it's important to live literally within your means. So if you make $50,000 a year, don't live like you make $70,000 a year. If your salary is $50K a year, live like you make $30K a year. Have as few payments as you possibly can. Why do you need to save and invest? Number one, only purchase cash flowing assets. In other words, things that appreciate in value. For instance, vehicles do not appreciate in value. They always depreciate in value. Add a loan to that vehicle, purchase that vehicle with a loan, borrow money to acquire that vehicle. Let's say you buy a used vehicle, it's $20,000. You take out a loan, depending on what your interest rate is, which is complete usury if you think about it. Someone's using you. If you're paying interest, you're being used. Okay? It's legal, but it's not healthy for you. Unless the car is used for business, then it's use. Every time you turn the key, you are making money with that vehicle. Now, the average vehicle, used vehicle, $20,000, let's say you finance it. And you're financing it from, 48 to 72, 75 months. At the end of those months, that car, you will have paid up to $40,000 for a $20,000 car. But at the end of the term of that loan, that vehicle is now only Kelly Blue booking at $7,000. It's a net negative. You're losing money. Now, if you're using that vehicle to, for instance, drive Lyft, Uber Eats, giving people rides to the airport, the vehicle can pay for itself. Okay, that's cool. You can do that. But still, that's just a Band-Aid on a bigger issue. Why do you need to save and invest only in appreciating assets, things that are worth more a year, 2, 5, 10 years down the line? I make sure that I invest only in cash flowing assets. That means things that become more valuable in time. Cars don't become more valuable in time. What becomes more valuable in time? Various stock options, and there's a little bit of risk involved in that. Land. You could buy a $10,000 plot of land, hang on to it, groom it, take care of it, and maybe sell it for $20,000. Or a little while later, $40,000. That's a cash flowing asset. That's an appreciating asset. Everything else loses money. Did you know that it's not cheating or infidelity that is the number one cause of divorce and marital problems, relationship problems? And the problem with a lot of couples is they start acting like married couples when they're not even married. Okay? She has her money, he has his money. But when you get married or are planning on being married, then guess what? That money is not her money and your money. That money becomes our money. So a certain philosophy has to guide the flow of money. It's not how much stuff you have, it's how much stuff you save. And I'm not saying live like a pauper. For instance, I would rather pay cash for a car rather than make payments. So you drive something that's a little bit older. It might not be the greatest looking car. You keep it running well, because the cheapest car to own, guess what, is the one you currently have. And you're going to dump, when it comes to like an older vehicle, you're going to dump $1,000 or $2,000 into a vehicle every year, into an older car, to keep it running. Just like the regular maintenance kind of stuff, because certain things go. And regular maintenance includes tires, brakes, alternator, battery, belts, tensioner wheels, mufflers, exhaust, things like that. Things that keep the car going. It might not be the prettiest car in the world, but guess what? It's paid for. But while you are driving that vehicle, you are stashing money. So when this vehicle, or the current vehicle that you're driving, no longer works, you can go and purchase a vehicle with cash. And cash is king, because you have a chance to negotiate on prices. If you are taking out high interest loans on vehicles, like I said, a $20,000 vehicle becomes a $40,000 vehicle in 48 to 72, 75 months. That's not good. The only people making out are the people that you bought the vehicle from, the dealership, and the bank that financed it. It's never your car. As long as a bank holds the title, it is not your vehicle. It is, quote unquote, on loan. Try not making that payment one month, and you'll see whose car it is. It's not yours. So invest only in cash flowing, appreciating assets. You don't need the best and the most modern and the most bells and whistles. You don't need all that stuff, okay? If that car goes, because you have saved up, you can pay cash for a new car. So the $20,000 you pay for the next car in your life is paid for. There's no obligation. You have the title. Remember, you don't own the car as long as you're making payments on it. So two people have to come to the conclusion that money is a priority. Some women will say, well, all you ever think of is money. That's not all I ever think of, but that's one of the things that I think of frequently is money. Let's say you have pets. Let's say you have home repairs. Guess what? You can't finance all that stuff. You got to pay cash for it. So money is important. It's very important. It's not your God. You don't fall in love with it. You don't have the love of money. Money is to be utilized. There's two things. You utilize money, and think about this. You increase money. If you're going out to dinner once or twice a week and dropping $50 to $100 every time, at the end of that month, you spent, what, $300 to $400 on food that someone else cooked. And what you're really paying for is the convenience and not having to cook it. It's made for you. And then after you tip and everything like that. So can you imagine taking that $400 or more, and in 1 year period, times 12 months, you have spent $5,000 eating out. The food that you purchase and cook yourself might cost you $200. But you ended up spending $5,000 that year on food. It's a depreciating asset. It's better to cook your own food than to buy food. When it comes to other expenses around the house, you don't want to take out loans for everything. You want to be able to pay cash. When you have cash in hand, you have negotiating power. A $20,000 car, when you plunk down $17,000 in front of the salesman, they might say, we'll take it. Or you might say something like, what's the out-the-door price on this vehicle? He'll say, it's going to be $22,500. And you say, I got 17 right here, right now. Take it or leave it. You might say, I can do 18. Okay, then you do 18. Guess what? You just got a vehicle for $18,000 that you're not making payments on. Now, the minute you turn the key of a vehicle, new vehicle or newer vehicle, it starts depreciating in value. That is a negative asset. It is not a cash flowing asset. So a vehicle is never an investment. It's a tool. Now, if you learn to utilize your belongings as money-making entities, then you're doing okay. Like I said, if you drive Lyft or Uber or delivery or something like that, then you can actually have the car pay for itself, which is kind of a cool thing. And if you use the car for more than that, like more business kind of stuff, then you can write off every expense that's associated with that vehicle. When it comes to houses, it's better to live not in your dream house at first. A lot of people want to finance a dream house, and then they become house poor. Most couples are making payments on two vehicles. They're paying over $1,000. Now think about it. If you buy a car that's a late model car and you financed it, insurance companies are going to require that you have full insurance coverage, which is going to be $250 a month. Add that to your expense. So when you have two vehicles that you're paying for and paying for insurance for, but not making a lot of money, that's a negative flow of cash. That's why I say positive cash flow is a happy thing. It's a nice thing. Negative cash flow causes stress on you, on the other person, and in the relationship. Somebody has to be the smart one, and they will end up thanking you for your financial wisdom. It's very, very important. The main message is to put your money into cash flowing assets. For instance, buying a watch. I don't buy expensive watches. I used to do that. I don't do it anymore. What am I wearing now? I'm wearing an Invicta watch. It costs $75. It's a 10-year watch. It's going to last me 10 years. If I bought something more expensive, then okay, whatever. But is it increasing in value? No. No watches increase in value unless they are made of precious metals. So a gold Rolex will literally be worth more money because of the gold content in the watch. It'll be worth more in 5 years and 10 years. So it literally is a cash flowing, appreciating asset. Everything else in life is negative cash flow. Everything else. That's why you keep your expenses low and live below your means. That's why you cook food rather than buy food out and about. Think about how you can invest your money. The wisest use of money right now is to utilize money. If money's just sitting around, what do they say? It doesn't help anything. It doesn't help grow. Like money is like manure. It's got to be spread around and utilized in order to make things grow. So investing money is a way to make money grow. It's a pretty simple process. Where in your life can you cut expenses? Where? Is it a vehicle? Do you have to downgrade a vehicle? Does that mean you can't live in your dream home? No, not right now. You might have to live in a manufactured home. You might have to live in a smaller home before you can buy your dream home. The best dream home is one that you pay for in cash. Let's say you buy a house for $300,000 and you finance the entire thing. You put down, 3%, 5%, 10, 20%. At the end of the term of that loan, you will have paid $1 million. You paid $1 million for a $300,000 home. Think about it. That's why cash is king. Always remember, happiness is positive cash flow. And the number one cause of divorce is not infidelity and cheating, it's money problems in a marriage. Many of you already know that, and you learned your lesson the hard way. Do you always have to learn your lessons the hard way? Many of us did that. And we swore to ourselves that we will never do that again. A loving home and being in love does not pay the bills. You got cats, you got home repairs. You're not going to finance all of that stuff, are you? No, you want to pay cash for it because cash is king. So your goal is to make money a priority, not over people. People are always much more important. For instance, like if you had $1,000, invest that into continuing education so you can make more money. Invest it in a plot of land. Invest it in a small business. You know how many small businesses are started by people who know nothing about business and they want to get out of the business? Maybe you can purchase the business. And if you have customer service and customer retention skills, you can take something like a $10,000, $15,000, $20,000 barbershop and turn it into a $100,000 barbershop. The goal is to take the things that you spend money on and turn them into money makers. If your vehicle is not a money-making machine, it's a depreciating asset. I want you to change your thinking into only spending money on things that appreciate in value, things that make more money as time goes on. Real simple financial lesson, and that will keep so many people out of so much trouble. If you have any questions, just put them down below. I'd be happy to answer your questions about things like that.